So, welcome, Productive You, where we have one mission.
To improve your productivity, and that's it. Okay, so hi guys, my name is Eric Su. I'm currently a grade 10 student at St. George's.
And my name is Ignacio, and I am a grade 10 student at Mulgrave School. So, why are we doing this? Well, Eric and I being high school students, every day in school we see kids being distracted. We see kids not being productive, and we see kids not achieving their full potential. And that makes Eric and I, it makes us sad because we realize that in our generation, everyone wants to achieve great things, but we all are not using our productivity. We are not being productive throughout everyday life, right? In fact, these are the most distracting times ever. So we're gonna have a little game here. So can anyone guess the percentage of students that are distracted while working? Does anyone have any ideas?
Just put your hand up if you have an idea.
80% plus.
50%?
80% plus.
Any more ideas?
90.
90?
A little bit higher.
Yeah, higher.
95%?
That's really close.
Higher.
98?
No?
100%.
No?
98?
No? Close?
That's close.
97. Here, you want high too? Yeah. So 97% of students are distracted while working. Right? So what does this mean? It means that you have an advantage.
And you can win. Just like this guy. Okay, so you might be wondering, why should you listen to us? We're just a couple of high school students, just like anybody else. The reason is because we are students as well. We know that pain that most of you will go through eventually of asking yourself whether or not all the hard work that you're putting in will be worth it. Because we don't want to just tirelessly study, come home and do your homework just to go to an average university, right? That's not what we want.
So what if we do it differently? Like billionaires and top athletes, they flipped the switch. They went the unconventional route that nobody else desires to go. So that's what we did. So we spent countless hours
Learning,
in books like The Compound Effect, Self-Discipline, Millionaire Fastlane, Elon Musk, Who Not How, Eat That Frog, Do Hard Things, Atomic Habit, Ultra Learning.
analyzing, and finally reflecting from these ultra high achievers and top billionaires and top achievers to become actually productive.
And achieve our dreams. Achieving higher grades, perfect on every test from Eric, essays. Yeah. So you get the point. And not only did we achieve these high marks, but we also did it while having a quote-unquote social life. So Eric here with his medals after a debate tournament. This is me with my friends winning the provincials with Mulgrave. And Eric and I going golfing on a sunny day. And we can show you.
Warning, however, nothing will be handed to you in this presentation. We're not trying to scare you off or scare anybody off here, but it's very important to know that if it was easy to become successful like this, then everybody would be. So this presentation is absolutely no joke. There's more than 250 slides here full of content.
By the end of this, you will feel like a bullet train has hit you right in the head. There is so much content that you need to make sure that you're staying on task and focus. Alright? If we had 7 days, we could spend all the time here just giving you as much information. But in the end is if you just get one idea, one principle, it can change your life. 100%. So we need you to focus and pay attention.
Okay, also we want to point out that you make sure that you're also taking notes to the concepts that we're talking about. As Albert Einstein once said, paper is to write things down that we need to remember. Our brains are supposed to be used to think.
Okay, so are you guys ready? So firstly, what does it mean to be productive? Well, productivity has less to do with how efficiently you do something and more with what you choose to do with your time. Alright, this right here is your goal. This is very important for you to notice. That productivity has less to do with how efficiently you do something and more with what you choose to do with your time. So,
To be efficient every day, you must schedule at least 3 or less priorities. So as Jim Collins said, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any at the end of the day. So how do you get these priorities done? We came up at Productive You with the Domino method. So what do dominoes do? Dominoes create an effect where just one spark, one pushed over, causes all of the other dominoes to fall over as well. That means that you should get one done and then move on. Just like a laser, where in a dark room where you can only see that one point. So if I shine a laser at a certain point, you focus only on that task, only on what it's pointing at, and nothing else. That's what real focus means.
Right. But what's very important is that you must finish the task first. So you cannot move on after finishing that task. So this is how the domino method works. If you trigger one event, the rest get done later. So you need to start the day quickly and get that one task done first, the one that you want to do least, and then continue moving on forward.
Right, so the key to all of this, as Brian Tracy said, if it's your job to eat a frog in the morning, it's best to do it the first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, you should eat the biggest frog first. Right? So even if you have math homework on the same day as you have an English essay to write, but also you have to study for a science test, we would say that what you do first is the most difficult task. So whatever is the hardest for you to complete, you do that task first. That's very important. You should do the most challenging task on your to-do list at the very beginning.
We like to say in Productive View, whatever you want to do last, you must do first. However, the number one enemy to the strategy and the number one killer to the domino method,
multitasking. Okay, so you need to learn that multitasking is literally just a myth. Right? So you've been lied to. Like, I don't care if any video you've seen says multitasking improves your efficiency. It doesn't. Okay, so let's prove this. Let's play a game. Everybody please get into a pair, and just everybody get into a pair.
yeah, so everyone get into pairs,
Group of 2.
and one person count to someone else from 1 to 10. As simple as that. Just
So
count.
one person in the pair count from 1 to 10. Alright, now the other person in the pair count from A to J, letters in the alphabet. Okay, now this is where the multitasking comes in. The first person who counted from 1 to 10, you now count, but like this. 1A, 2B, 3C. You
All the
count
way-
both of them at the same time.
all the way to 10. What's happening, guys?
Yeah, so it got immediately messy. It's difficult, right? Okay.
So multitasking, as you can see, biggest reason why car crashes actually happen. Around 47% of students find themselves getting distracted while driving, and 1.6 million crashes actually occur due to distracted driving. That's why it is physically impossible for you to do 2 things at once. Right? All you're doing is those moments where you think you might be doing 2 things at a time, where you think you're multitasking, all you're doing is just quickly switching between 2 tasks. Right? Like walking with your friends and talking. Your walking is subconscious. You don't think of each step you're taking. You don't think of where you're going. You think of talking with your friends, but you don't actually think of the action of walking. Right? Same with when you're playing video games and watching YouTube. If you're playing the video game, your brain is only in task with the video game and not with YouTube, and then you just quickly switch between the 2 tasks.
Okay, so this is where the facts come in. You lose 15 IQ points whenever you're multitasking. So if I'm trying to play a video game and watch YouTube at the same time, your IQ in that moment goes lower by 15 points. So we don't want that to happen. So that's why you must single task. Right? So you don't want to lose IQ and make the quality of your work become lower. So only do one thing at a time. Now, there are 7 steps that we're going to provide with you to have an absolutely productive day.
So, the first one is get to work as fast as possible. The morning routine is crucial to having a productive day. Everything starts in the morning. So depending on how you start, right in the morning, how you wake up, depends on how productive you are during the day. So now we're going to have another quiz game. Guess how many people look at their phone first thing in the morning? First thing they touch in the morning.
95%?
No, not that many.
Not
Yeah.
that high.
71?
Yeah,
Yeah,
71%.
Right
You
on the
got it.
dot.
Yeah, so 71% of people look at their phone right in the morning. And this is terrible. Because looking at your phone in the morning sets the day off in a bad tone. You look at your phone and you scroll on social media or whatever, and that automatically puts in the tone of being slow, of being sad, of being tired, of just sitting there, right? And that's not good.
Okay, so what about this? So there's a false conception that, oh, if I do all these things in the morning, I'm a productive person, right? You write in your gratitude journal, you have a nice coffee, you do yoga, you review your schedule, right? You write down what you have to do. That's not productive as well. Because the reason why that's not productive is because you're not tackling your most important challenge. What it means to be productive is doing your most important task at the very beginning of the day. Just getting that over with, right? You don't want to continue thinking about it. right? So that's not productive. Okay, let's play a game. Okay, so let's say you want to play a game, right? We should play a game here as to how quickly you can get to work. So every morning when you wake up, it's a game. You should play a game as to see how fast you can get to work. So you go to the bathroom, you change, and ultimately you try to get to work as early as possible.
Yep. So that's the main goal, is to wake up and get to work as fast as possible. No phone, no social media, no messing around. Just get to work as fast as possible. Now, the second tip is no phone or music 3 hours after waking up. So it may sound crazy, right? But it's because of dopamine. Dopamine is a hormone in your body which controls your motivation, your kind of current happiness level, right? Dopamine, we see it as like a current happiness level. So what dopamine is you contain lots of dopamine when you're scrolling through social media, when you're having, social media is a very popular dopamine, mainstream, where you see all TikTok, you keep scrolling, you're stuck in that dopamine trap, where all you're looking is for the quick shot of instant gratification, right? This is how dopamine works. It kind of curves up. So every time you either see social media or see something, big example is also coffee, right? Let's say you drink coffee, you have a big shot of dopamine right at the beginning. You feel very energized, feel very good. The problem with coffee and sharp dopamine enhancing is that it's cheap dopamine. So later, it ends with a big crash. All right? And that crash just kills all your motivation and will.
So the craziest part is that you get the best amount of real dopamine when you have self-discipline. That's very important. Okay, so what's self-discipline? It's doing what you don't want to do, right? If I have an English essay due the next day, I don't want to do that, but you still do it. That's the action of self-discipline. So even if you don't want to study, even if you rather prefer hanging out with friends, you might not feel good in the moment of studying, but at the end, you'll get a true reward. So an example of this is David Goggins. I'm sure like a lot of us have heard of him. Yeah, so he's all about that grind set. So in the morning, he wakes up, runs like a 10-mile run, right? Where he goes to the gym like right after, hits a 3-hour workout session. He doesn't want to do that, right? Nobody wants to do that. But he still does it anyways because it's self-discipline. He gets a reward later. He could be watching YouTube on the bed, but he chooses not to do so because the rewards of going and working out and having that physical improvement in well-being is really what matters. That's real dopamine. Okay, and also, you should remove all coffee and sugar intake right when you wake up because it's a short dopamine dosage, right? You take a coffee, you feel, oh, I'm really relaxed now, I have a lot of energy now. That's short amounts of dopamine. That's not real dopamine. It's all like fake, right? It'll only last a very short period of time. You want something that'll last a long time. Going on a walk is refreshing. That'll last a lot longer than simply taking a shot of coffee. So do not resort to a quick boost of dopamine. It'll make you feel sluggish once it wears off, right? So I'm sure all of us have experienced this. If you drink coffee, you take a Red Bull, after a couple of hours, it wears off and you feel absolutely terrible. You don't want to do much with the rest of your day. Okay, so I know this might sound absolutely crazy, right? Like all of us love watching, looking at our phone, like not listening to music 3 hours after waking up, right? So, but you have to do it. So no Drake during the day, even if it's just cheap dopamine. However, there is an alternative. So if you really love listening to music, classical music works as well. So because it doesn't have any lyrics or high beat tempos, it doesn't spike your dopamine. But it still helps you concentrate because it's good quality music. Okay.
So now for the third tip, exercise and 8.5 hours of sleep every day. So even as small as exercising for 15 minutes is essential because every day you sit down and you work the whole day. That act of working tires your brain out. So when you have even just 15 minutes of going outside, exercising, your body releases something called endorphins, which is a stress hormone that makes your body feel more cool and actually improves focus. So even though it might not seem beneficial because you're losing studying time, it's actually very beneficial because it helps with mental stress. And going outside is also, going to the gym is also great, releases the most amount of endorphins. Right? Think of it as a brain recovery. Lots of people in our school are just like, I can't go outside because it's a waste of my time. I can't do exercise because it's a waste of my time. But in reality, that's not true. That's just an excuse that you're telling yourself because the recovery helps you be more focused later and in result do more focused work.
Okay, so when people say they pull all-nighters, you might think it's a cool thing. They got a lot of work done. But that's not the case. When people say they didn't sleep at all, like that's very unhealthy. You should not do that, right? You should get at least 8.5 hours of sleep. That's crucial. Because if you pull an all-nighter, let's say, to do your English homework, right? The next day you're gonna feel like you have absolutely no energy, right? So that's very bad for your health, but it's also bad for your performance the next day, right? Okay, so all-nighters are cringe because you lose out in the long run. Sure, in the short run you got the essay done, but it's not good for your long-term health. You need to sleep. Okay, the fourth step now, and the 3 stars means this is ultimately the most important one. So please pay attention here. Schedule 3 sprint sessions and breaks. So I'm sure lots of you don't understand what this means. We'll explain it right now.
So, how do you become insanely efficient? And the most important skill to master productivity is flow.
Okay, so you might be wondering, what is flow? Flow requires intense concentration. So when you're absolutely focused on the task at hand. For example, when Messi plays in the World Cup, right? That's when he's absolutely focused. Like you have no idea how concentrated he is on his opponents, where the ball is, on like his technique, right? That's the level of focus you need. But it also means being fully absorbed in your task, right? So it doesn't mean watching YouTube while doing your homework, right? It means only focusing on that one task that you set time to finish now. But finally, it also means that you need to have, right? So for example, if you're studying for an exam, you feel timelessness, right? You need to feel like time is passing. You have no idea what time it is because you're so absorbed in the task. You don't check the time. You don't like, when is this over? When is this class ending? Because you feel absolutely focused. You don't care about that time anymore. So for example, this is when you're like skiing in the Alps with your friends, right? You lose track of time. That's basically what it feels like, right? So like you're having the most amount of fun. You have no idea what time it is.
So your goal is to study in flow, right? As Mohali once said, the best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. To put this in a different perspective, there's this chart right here. We can see that the skills are the highest and the challenges are the highest. That's where you reach your flow. So when you do something easy and that's fun, you don't reach the flow that you want to reach because your body sees that differently. But the best parts of flow is when there's either math or something that you find difficult and you push back that state, and after around 10 minutes of studying, you reach that state of flow.
Okay, so how do you quickly get into flow? You should schedule a chunk of undisturbed time. So this is common in all the books that we've read, right? You need to schedule an undisturbed chunk of time. So even if you can't concentrate for 45 minutes, even 25 minutes is good enough, right? You can get into that state of flow and get your work done. Okay, so this means that you're absolutely sprinting. This is the sprint, when you set that chunk of time just to do work and you're absolutely focused there, right? So a key to this is going to a place that people can't disturb you. So if you work in the kitchen while your parents are cooking, you're not going to get into that state of flow. You're going to be easily distracted. So even if you're easy to find, everybody can and will disrupt your flow. And if you can't do that, if you don't have any room in your house to go to a place that people can disturb you, put a sign on your door even to tell your family members not to enter when you're working or when the sign is on.
So another one is cut out any external noise. So we recommend using either some sort of headphones or noise cancellation that just blocks people from contacting you, just because this is the moment that you should be fully locked in and in flow, immersed. Nobody can distract you. And like with the music that we mentioned before, we don't recommend listening to rap, any high electronic music, just because it removes you from that flow and you ultimately lose that time. So orchestra, all that stuff is great. And another thing is timing yourself. So Eric and I actually have some stopwatches at home where we turn on every time we do work. And this ensures that by the end of it, we know how much time we've actually been working. So we have to stop it every time we break, stop it every time someone comes in, stop it every time we're not doing work. So by the end of the day, we see how much time we've actually worked. And the results will surprise you. If you do this, even for like a week, you'll be surprised how little time you're actually in flow and actually doing work. And then you just have to sprint. So you must be only focused on the task at hand. And like we mentioned before, no multitasking. You can't be trying to manage 2 things at one time. Just make sure you are fully immersed at one thing at the current time.
Okay, so this is how it should feel when you're working in flow. You Just imagine yourself like sitting on top of a mountain. You're fully immersed in the tasks that you're doing. You don't care about what's happening around you. You don't care about what's about to happen in the next 15 minutes. All you care about is the task that you're working on right this moment. Okay, another important thing about flow is you have to take breaks, right? So breaks allows you to reset your mind. It allows you to take your mind off of work and actually relax. So the best example of taking a break is make sure you go outside. Right? A lot of you guys think that taking a break means hopping on your phone, scrolling on TikTok. No, going outside is the best way, right? Walking your dog, walking to the forest, going to the beach, that's the best way of getting a break. And even if you can't do that, if you have a lot of work and you can't afford to, like 40 minutes of going outside, even a short break works, right? So even if you don't have enough time, you can still walk around in your house, right? Another great way of taking a break is looking out the window, for example, right? As long as you're not sitting in your desk, right? As long as you're going up, moving around, looking out the window, that is another way of having a good break.
And what's crucial here is that you just don't look at social media, because your brain is just not taking a break after doing work. If you finish your work and you look at your phone, your brain is still thinking and it's being like over processed, right? You need to relax. You need to just not think about work and go outside, right? That is the best way to take a break and to actually give your brain a break. That's the whole point. Right? And 0%. And we mean it, like 0%. Just zero. Just cut it out, just go outside. You know what to do. And the best part is that once you start studying in flow, it actually becomes fun. Flow actually starts becoming fun, and it's almost like a game on how fast you can get to flow and how much flow you can actually do. So you need to ingrain flow into your brain. So make sure you complete 3 sprints per day.
Okay, number 5. The main thing that's holding you back from reaching that state of flow right now and removing you from the life that you want, right? Getting into that top university. Any guesses? Do you guys have any guesses of what that is that's preventing you? Sounds?
Kind
That's
of.
close, yeah. That counts as
It's
one.
in the category.
It's a broad category. Anything preventing you from being able to focus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Chu. Yeah. So distractions. You got it right on.
Okay.
You need to burn and eliminate all distractions, right? Distractions are costing you a lot because they pull your attention away, making you lose focus, right? The craziest thing that people don't realize how much a distraction is costing you is that a distraction itself is probably only like 40 seconds, right? You look at your phone, a text message comes up, you type it out. It's 40 seconds, right? Why does that matter? Well, the reason why it actually matters is because getting into flow takes around 23 minutes and 15 seconds. So every time you get distracted, it pulls you away from flow, and then you have to take another 23 minutes and 15 seconds to go back into flow. So that's why distractions just remove you so much from flow, which ends up just killing your studying. You can never reach peak flows when you're distracted so often, and it gets you away from the flow, right?
Okay. So because there's so many distractions, here's a strategy that we provide with you. Make it impossible for you to get distracted, right? Remove all your distractions. Take that phone off of your desk. Because it's a very common quote that it's always easier to avoid temptations than to resist it. Willpower is unreliable. It's overrated. So if you say, okay, I have willpower, I'm not going to touch my phone. No, you shouldn't trust yourself with that, right? It's a very difficult thing to do. It's much easier if you just put that phone in a different room, because then you don't even think about it. If you're constantly looking at it, saying, okay, I'm not going to touch it, I'm not going to touch it, you're thinking about it, right? So what you should do is you not rely on willpower. You should actually take it away.
Just like the famous marshmallow test, where they put a marshmallow in front of a kid. Over a day, scientists have found out that your willpower is like a cell phone battery. Over the day, the more you use your willpower, the more it drains out. So in the morning, let's say you have the marshmallow right in front, you use your willpower, right? Throughout the day, when you use your willpower, at the end, you'll have it depleted and you will just fail, right? You will not be able to hold yourself back from all those distractions. So you need to identify what is distracting you and absolutely just demolish them, right? Biggest one is your phone, right? Your phone is just a distraction machine. Companies like Facebook, Meta, Instagram, they're all designed to distract you. They're all designed to have as much time on their phone. So every small design that they make is intended for you to use the app and distract you, right? So a best thing that we like to do is just power it off. So you got no notifications, no buzz. Even just a simple buzz on the phone distracts you, pulls you away from the flow. And another thing that Eric and I do too is screen time. Just stopping yourself, being able to add like a 15-minute limit on something.
Yep.
It's perfect. And right, you can just do not disturb on Mac as well, so you get no messages and no music as well. The lyrics distract you off beat, and you'll just lose flow.
Okay, number 6 then. Have 3 top priorities for the day. The 3 things that you want to get done. So just like the domino method, make sure you tackle one task and then another, not 2 tasks at the same time. So do not move on until you finish the current task at hand. So you can't just say, okay, I'm going to do 20 math questions and then move on to English. No, get all of the math questions done and then you can move on. So that's how you single task and get all of these tasks done. Okay, number 7. Last but definitely not least, momentum.
So doing the same repeated actions over a long period of time will create great results. So we're going to have another sample. So you have to choose one of these, all right? $3 million in cash today. Right now, I give you $3 million or 1 penny that doubles every day for 31 days. Right? Who's picking the $3 million? Put your hand up. Okay, right? Most people would pick $3 million. But in reality, the penny that doubles every day, as you can see, you get $3 million from the $3 million right now. But the penny that doubles every day for 31 days results to a whopping $10,737,418.24. That is more than 3 times the amount that your friend got picking the $3 million right now. And this is the growth of the compound effect. So as you can see here in the chart, the penny, even on day 25, it is only at like $500,000. Well, $5,000. No. $500,000. Yeah. And you're feeling sad, right? My friend picked $3 million and I'm here at barely anything. Even day 21, right? You don't have any money. But then the power of the compound effect spikes up, and imagine if you had 35 days. That 10 million starts even compounding even more. It's just compound interest, which many of you guys have probably learned in math class. And that is actually the growth of the compound effect. So every day you do work, it might seem inconsequential. This is mainly for the SAT as well, which I'm doing right now. Every single day, you even just 10 questions, that might not seem like much, right? Like the 20th day after the penny, you only have $50. But then after, you keep working, keep studying, every single day, if you keep this 7 step for a bunch of days, over a long period of time, you will see insane amount of growth. So as Jim Rohn once said, we must all suffer from one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is that discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Right, so next time you want to slack off by the small amount, ask yourself, like, will you regret it? Right? Just think about the penny. What if you miss 1 day in the penny? You're going to drop and you're going to have to reset again. So ask yourself, will you regret it?
Okay, so those were the 7 steps to achieve an absolutely productive day. So just by applying one of them, even just one of them at a small time, you can achieve great things at the end. Okay, but you might be wondering, how can we apply all of these strategies to become productive? What if we combine, what if there was a simple app to combine all of these 7 strategies? After countless hours of research, obsession, and focus, we present to you productiveu, our website, a minimalistic and efficiency maximizing text editor, helping you avoid distractions. Okay, so as you can see here, this is what our website basically looks like. You can write all of your essays, write your science paragraphs, write any history or like social study papers, all in this website, and it helps keep you on track. This is a dark theme, like just showing the 2 themes. Okay.
So there's as well a Pomodoro timer that helps you manage your time. We also added interval productivity, just like the sprint and recover method that we talked about before, where you sprint for 45 minutes and break for a short 5 minutes. We have the sprint sessions mixed with the rest from flow.
Okay, another important thing that this website helps you do is time blocking. So what the Pomodoro timer does is it gives you a number of cycles, right? 45 minutes work session, then 10 minutes break. That helps you block your time. So I don't know if any of you guys have like Google Calendars, for example, but time blocking is crucial because you force yourself to set a block of time for you to complete a certain task, right? So that helps you organize your time, be on top of your time management, which is absolutely crucial because then you can allocate time to all of your tasks and get all of them done. It also adds a sense of urgency. So when you have 5 minutes left on your Pomodoro timer, you're like, oh shoot, I need to absolutely focus and get this task done because if the timer runs out, I gotta take that break and I'm unable to get this task done. Okay, so here's what the timer looks like. So you have a light theme mode here and a dark theme mode here. Okay, and then we also have a to-do list with priorities, right? So you should ensure that you eat that frog first. So what our to-do list is basically is you can provide like a number of tasks that you have to get done in that day and you check them off like as you complete them, but also we allow a priority system. So many to-do lists literally are just lists. What our website has is a to-do list with priorities. That means that you can flag a certain task to prove which one's the most important. So if I have 3 tasks, math, science, and socials, I flag one of them, whichever one is the hardest, and you do that one first. Okay, this also helps with your organization, right? It helps you keep track of your top priorities and it makes sure that you never forget. Because a lot of people nowadays they just have it in their head. They think they can remember all of their tasks, right? They think they can remember, I have this to do, I have this math chapter to do. No, this helps you become truly organized. It helps you remember all the things that you have to do. Okay, it also teaches you time management, right? Being able to ensure that you have enough time to do all of your tasks and to spend a correct amount of time on each task. Okay, here's what our to-do list looks like. Obviously, you have that flag on the right there, the blue flag, dictating which one is the most important, and there's a little animation of like confetti once you check them off.
So use this tool and your productivity will increase by more than 10x the previous result. Because we promise that with the strategies that we taught you today, mixed in with this tool, your productivity will skyrocket. So it's productiveu.app. Show you in a bit.
If any of you guys have like a phone, you could note this website down.
So your action points, if you could take away 3 things from this whole slideshow, the first one is the Domino method. So you want to use the Domino method and schedule 3 priorities each day and no multitasking. Second one is schedule 3 sprint sessions per day. So have in your calendar, either Google Calendars, 3 chunks of time where you will be fully focused without any distractions. And the last one is no phone and music for first 6 hours or 3 hours as well. And that's it. Right? It might seem kind of simple because it is. The truth is that productivity is simple. But whether you want to do it or not, that's when it gets hard. What is simple to do is also simple not to do, as Jim Rohn says. A lot of people are just like, all right, I have this habit every day of doing this, and after a week, they just fall off and they don't do it. Because what's simple is also simple not to do.
Okay, from Productive You, we thank you for spending your time with us today. And we hope that you can reach your goals and become truly productive using our strategies that we taught you today.